Can you give advice to the budding herbalist on how to pursue a career in herbalism?
Yeah, so I mean, I run a school, and so here's the truth. It's really hard to make a livelihood in herbalism. So Mason has done it by going on the video end and also having a previous job with a company. I've done it by teaching, but there's very few herbalists. Katie Crabb in Southern Ohio actually makes her livelihood as a clinical herbalist. That's where she makes most of her money. But actually, that's really uncommon. I called her up just to see if that was true, and it is true. And so I think the thing that you really have to, so I mean this. It's just like you got to keep your day job initially, because herbal medicine is not widely paid. People don't pay a lot for it. And here's another reality. People like me make this worse. And the reason for this, so this is kind of snarky and kind of true. Like, so I am an herbalist at a free clinic. All the herbs at the free clinic are free. And if you're there in person, and all the consultations are free no matter where you live, because we could do those online. So in a sense, I devalue herbal medicine, right? Because here I am, like a fairly well-known herbalist, and I work for free. I mean, I have my own reasons for that. I want to see herbal medicine be spread, and I want it to be affordable and available to as many people as possible. Yeah. But the problem with that is other people want to make their livelihood as a clinical herbalist, and so by people like myself doing it this way, it makes it look like, oh, you know, everybody should do it for free, but that's not true. I mean, my students go to my school for a year and then study other places for a year and practice, and it's hard for them to make livelihoods. Really, teaching is the main way, and products are way down the line. It's very hard to make, you know, it's easy to make products and sell a few, but to actually make an income. Yeah. I only have one student, Abby, with Zizia Botanicals in LA, but she's been doing it for 15 years and has really been pushing it the whole time and has finally figured out, you know, a way. But it's really, so I mean, I'm partly saying like they're the students and I'm proud of them doing this, but it's pretty difficult. So I think the first thing is like, if money is a concern, and money is a concern, is where do you think, like, start to think of like, where do you think you fit into it? There's not that many. I actually have a handout on my website, which is 7song.com. That's 69 ways to be an herbalist, but really very few of them are realistic. Yeah. You know, like I write an herbal novel. I mean, I have all kinds of stuff that I just spent way too much time thinking about. But herbal medicine is a valuable, this is the Chamber of Commerce moment. Herbal medicine is valuable and it can be affordable if you gather the medicines. You can't expect your patients to gather medicines, right? So I work in a free clinic. The idea of my patients gathering medicine is thoughtless, right? They're sick. They often have 2 or 3 jobs. They might have families. I mean, there's no way they're going to learn how to gather the correct plant and make the medicines. But if you make them and you have the time to make them, because it's not free, right? It's only free if you have amazing amounts, large amounts of time to do this. All right. So I've known for this, like, kind of realistic, but downplaying the avenues of herbal medicine. But I mean, I've been running a school a long time. And so I have 5 students teaching here, but they make money and often they have other jobs to help them. And then sometimes they make the leap and they move into something like teaching or being a clinical herbalist. But what I would say is learn your shit. Yeah. Like, learn how to be a good herbalist. Like, you know, go through multiple sources. Of course, I would think, make sure you understand your warning signs and understand like the real health needs of people from a medical viewpoint as much as you can. And, you know, be very clear with transparency about your knowledge and skills. But people love it. Like, it is so wonderful to have this skill where somebody's like, you know, I've had this rash for a long time and for years, and whenever I try these creams, it just gets worse. And I might not be the one to help, but I'm definitely one of the people that has an opportunity to say, okay, here's some herbs, and try this. And so, one thing that's happened since 1981 is herbal medicine, at least in this culture, right? Because in many cultures, herbal medicine has never swayed or moved away. Right. But in this kind of more, suburban, urban culture, it's become more and more popular, and people really want to know about herbal medicine. And it is a thrill to be a person, to be able to help people, or at least, All right, so let's take another, I know we're getting close
No,
here,
it's great.
but one thing that I do as an herbalist, I think in fact, I'd say like one of the things I do most as an herbalist is be a bridge between, is to be a bridge for people to understand what their medical diagnoses are, what the possibilities are. I have a pretty good understanding. I mean, I teach physiology and anatomy, and I have a pretty good understanding of many medications and learn them when I need to learn them. And I have a good understanding of a lot of the pathophysiology, like what goes on in our body for a lot of diseases. And so if somebody has diabetes, for instance, often what they don't understand is why is sugar in our blood a problem? And when you describe that, it helps people understand it and make, I think, better choices with understanding it, or make whatever choices they want, but knowing that sugar basically causes inflammation in the bloodstream for reasons we don't know. And so for me, my avenue has been to be the bridge between the herbal world and conventional medicine and conventional diagnosis. But I think the thing is, like, everybody has separate talents. Like I'm good with medical sciences. That's my strong suit. There are other approaches, like there's like TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, but there's actually many approaches, and there's many cultural approaches. But the thing is, like, you have to learn. It's not like going and hang around with somebody for a day or two and learning some Latino herbal practices. Like, if you want to know that, that's going to take years because it's an in-depth cultural tradition. So I would say learn it and study it, but understand that for most people, it's actually not that easy to make a livelihood, at least initially. And for many people, it stays on the side. Yeah, so sorry to be pessimistic, not sorry to be realistic.
No, I think there's a lot of value there, and I think some people might even rewind it and re-listen to that. And we'll be sure to include the 69 tips to be an herbalist
Okay.
and the podcast show notes along with the YouTube description. So appreciate that,
Sure.
those words of advice.